You probably know someone who never asks for help. When the ceiling leaks, when a relationship fractures, or when work piles so high they can't see over it, they simply handle it. They are the reliable one, the steady anchor everyone else leans on in a crisis. Western culture and corporate environments actively reward this behavior. We elevate the self-made individual and the employee who works late without complaining. We treat absolute self-sufficiency as the highest possible marker of success and reliability. But inside the mind of that highly capable person, there is a specific reflex at work. When a problem arises, they immediately run the numbers in their head, mapping out a solo path through the wreckage. The thought of reaching out to a friend or colleague doesn't even register as an option. What society universally praises as ultimate strength is often a camouflage for something else. The absolute refusal to share a burden is rarely a healthy personality trait.
It is a glitching defense mechanism. In 1954, the psychologist Julian Rotter introduced a concept called the locus of control. This framework measures a simple but powerful belief, whether you think you direct your own life, an internal locus, or whether you believe you are at the mercy of outside forces, an external locus. This chart maps belief onto well-being. Moving right toward a high internal locus, we see a clear downward trend in stress levels and higher coping abilities. Conversely, on the left side, an external locus creates a distinct cluster linked to vulnerability, helplessness, and depression. But there is a paradox hidden in this data. When an internal locus of control is pushed to an absolute extreme, the psychological benefits vanish. It mutates into a trauma response known as hyperindependence, quietly isolating and destroying the individual from the inside out. To understand why this happens, we have to look at how the brain develops. Psychologists call this origin point avoidant attachment. Avoidant attachment is a psychological pattern where a child learns to stop seeking comfort because their caregivers are emotionally unpredictable or consistently unavailable. Think of the child who repeatedly called for help and was met with absence or annoyance. Their neuroplastic brain quickly adapted. They learned that reaching out is pointless because no one is coming. Then there is the child who was actively punished or made to feel like a burden for needing assistance. To avoid shame, they tied their entire self-worth to taking up zero emotional space in the household. Finally, we see the parentified child. This is the caretaker who built their identity around being the unshakable anchor for the adults around them, providing the stability that their actual parents could not. In all these cases, the child's brain writes a core survival rule. I will not need you, and therefore you cannot fail me. This isolation was never a conscious choice. It was the necessary armor of a child surviving an environment that couldn't hold them. Healthy self-reliance means knowing you can solve a problem alone, but choosing to ask for help when the load gets too heavy. Hyperindependence is entirely different. For the hyper-independent adult, the mere thought of asking for help triggers a physical threat response. This diagram shows the neurobiology behind that threat response, based on Dr. Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory. Polyvagal theory is a model explaining how our autonomic nervous system shifts between two distinct states: a calm, interconnected social engagement system and a flared, isolated mobilization mode, commonly known as fight or flight. The hyper-independent brain is permanently locked in this red mobilization mode. In this state, the nervous system views vulnerability not as a path to connection, but as dangerous exposure. The body continuously pumps out the stress hormone cortisol to maintain this high alert. By refusing to share the load, the hyper-independent person directly violates their own biological need for nervous system co-regulation. Humans evolved to steady each other. Closing that circuit permanently results in chronic burnout, severe immune strain, and toxic physiological stress. The evolutionary and biological remedy to this trap is interdependence, the ability to both support others and allow them to genuinely support you. The empirical value of this human connection over absolute autonomy is proven by the 75-year Harvard study on adult development. Researchers tracked generations of individuals from their youth all the way through old age. Their core finding was striking. The single strongest predictor of a long, healthy, and meaningful life is not wealth, and it is not self-made career achievement. It is the quality of a person's relationships.
But here is the harsh reality. You cannot cultivate those high-quality, life-extending relationships if your nervous system never allows anyone to truly step in, see your struggles, and support you. Healing from hyperindependence doesn't mean becoming helpless. It means intentionally updating your nervous system's outdated childhood records. You do this through small, safe experiences of accepting help, proving to your body that needing someone is no longer dangerous. We need a new definition of strength. True courage isn't carrying the weight of the world in silence. True courage is choosing vulnerability when your entire body is screaming at you to handle it alone. If you have spent your life proving you don't need anyone, you've already won that battle. Now do the bravest thing possible. Look at someone you trust and admit that you need help.